saw the story right here, and I had to immediately do a video on it because this is absolutely ridiculous. And if the people of Florida have some kind of right frame of mind, they need to get Ron DeSantis up out of his position by the next election. So Ron DeSantis is back in the news again because he just signed a bill that required Florida students and professors to register political views with the state. Basically, if your views or anything does not line up with how his views are, they're basically going to do some shady shit with your votes. If that's not a dictatorship, I don't know what is. And we already know which way he leans politically. But that says more about him as a governor and a politician than it does about the people. I may not like either side, but I wouldn't be the person that would take the liberties out of other people or away from other people or how they feel about a certain politician. And so the thing is, many people down in Florida don't like Ron DeSantis anyway. And I think Ron DeSantis is fearful that he's about to lose, that he can lose his governorship in next year. Next year. I almost got it confused. I think that's what he's fearful of. So he's forcing their hands. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article and see what else is going, because now it goes into more detail. Public universities in Florida will be required to survey both faculty and students on their political beliefs and viewpoints. Mind you, this is something that's supposed to be more so private. Didn't they say that you're not supposed to discuss political views in certain settings? I could have sworn that's what was supposed to happen, but I guess not anymore. With the institutions at risk of losing their funding if the responses are not satisfactory to the state's Republican-led legislature. So they're threatening to defund these schools and universities if they do not survey them where they lean more politically to the right. If that's not a dictatorship, I don't know what is. I swear, between Texas and Florida, I don't know who's worse with it. The unprecedented project, which was tucked into a law signed Tuesday by Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, is part of a long-running nationwide right-wing push to promote intellectual diversity on campuses, though worries over a lack of details on the survey's privacy protections and questions over what the results may ultimately be used for hover over the venture. Based on the bill's language, survey responses will not necessarily be anonymous, sparking worries among many professors and other university staff that they may be targeted, held back in their careers, or even fired for their beliefs. So this survey, like it says, is not going to be anonymous, which means these people's identity will be put out there. So they will have a target on their back, or on their front, I should say. But this is this is the governor of Florida right here. According to the bill's sponsor, State Senator Ray Rodriguez, faculty will not be promoted or fired based on the responses. But as the Tampa Bay Times reported Tuesday, the bill itself does not back up those claims. The only details on the survey come via a passage over its purpose to discover the extent to which competing ideas and perspectives are presented at public universities and whether students feel free to express beliefs and viewpoints on campus and in the classroom. It used to be thought that a university campus was a place where you'd be exposed to a lot of different ideas, DeSantis said at a press conference following the bill signing. Unfortunately, now the norm is these are more intellectually repressive environments. You have orthodoxies that are promoted and other viewpoints are shunned or even suppressed. In other words, he does not like he doesn't like any viewpoint except his own. And if they don't line up with his, then he's going to snatch away whatever he can until he gets what he wants. That is a dictatorship. And notice that most of the ones that keep trying to do a dictatorship are those who are right-leaning. Now, this has nothing to do with me supporting one or the other, because fuck them both, quite honestly, because both are bad for us. But this particular group in particular loves that dictatorship talk. Republicans have long held that universities promote left-wing ideologies and discriminate against conservative students and staff. My question to Ron DeSantis and those who think like that, if they did the complete opposite, how would you feel? Something tells me this wouldn't even be a topic of discussion. Though the bill does not specify what the survey results will be used for, both DeSantis and Rodriguez suggest that the state could institute budget cuts if university students and staff do not respond in a satisfactory manner. They are threatening to take funds out of these schools to keep operating and to help these students whatever career path that they want post grad if they don't vote a particular way. And that's for the entire state of Florida. That's not for a city. It's not for a town. It's not for a county. It's for the entire state. That's not worth tax dollars, and that's not something that we're going to be supporting moving forward, DeSantis said. When pressed by reporters, the governor did not offer any specific examples of repression and discrimination faced by conservative students, simply saying that he knows a lot of parents who worry about their children being indoctrinated on campus. In other words, he's just talking a whole bunch of bullshit. He just threw out there that these conservative leaning students are facing discrimination, but they can't specify exactly which one. This is just like when white people say that they're suffering from a mental illness, but they don't specify which mental illness, so they just leave it up in the air, and it's so vague because there's so many mental illnesses. So if they're facing discrimination on campuses for their political beliefs, what exactly are they being discriminated against? Can they give an example? Can they interview a couple of the students so we can come to a consensus? No, they can't, because they're just throwing it out there. And then he tried to cover it up with that bullshit, saying that he knows a lot of parents who worry about their children being indoctrinated. These are some of the same people that don't want CRT taught in schools. Florida Senate President Wilton Simpson was more pointed in his criticism Tuesday at a meeting of the State University System Board of Governors, calling out the institution's socialism factories, again without much detail on what makes the school so left-wing. See, they are just throwing out vague terms. They're saying the school is left-wing. How is it? The students who are conservative are facing discrimination. What discrimination? Can you give an example? We always hear about the liberal parts of a university system, and we don't hear so much of that from the college system, he said, according to the Tampa Bay Times. In addition to the survey, the bill also prevents officials from limiting campus speech that may be uncomfortable, disagreeable, or offensive, a measure that, as Democrats in the state legislature pointed out, will also make it easier for groups like the KKK or the Proud Boys to hold events on campus. In a conversation with the Miami Herald this April, Barney Bishop, one of the top lobbyists pushing the bill in Florida's state legislature over the past year, shone a light on the justifications behind such measures, which he said were less about intellectual diversity and more concerned about maintaining the country's conservative Christian identity in the face of younger, more diverse generations that share a dimmer view of religious right-wing orthodoxy. And that's really all it boils down to. In other words, white men are trying to preserve the legacy of whiteness in America. And the thing is, they're pulling out all the stops for a machine that is steamrolling over them as we speak. And they don't even they probably realize it. That's why they're in panic mode. They are in panic mode. That's what this thing is. It should be called Operation Panic Mode. Bishop also told the paper he certainly hopes the effort will expand into the K through 12 system. So they're starting it on the collegiate level, then wants to go down to the public school level, public and private and charter school level with children and indoctrinate them there. And they talk about indoctrination. What the hell would you call this? That's the same damn thing. I swear this double talk that comes from PC is out of this world. When I say out of this world, I'm talking about past all the remaining planets, past Earth, and outside of the damn galaxy and the Milky Way. Like, you hear the double talk? Oh, we don't want them to be indoctrinated by the left-wing ideology that's allegedly being on this campus, but we're going to, push this survey hopefully to K through 12. That's the same damn thing. But see, they worded it a certain way so it throws you off. But you can't throw people like myself off who think critically. I think the problem isn't just in higher ed. The truth of the matter is that kids are being indoctrinated from an early age, he said. I think that those of us who have diverse thinking and look at both sides of the issue see that the way the cards are stacked in the education system is toward the left and toward the liberal ideology and also secularism. And those were not the values that our country was founded on. What have I told you about PC not being far removed from their ancestors? And if they could, they wish they could go back to the way things were. He just basically said it. He said it right here. Those were not the values our country was founded on. And what values was this country founded on, might I ask? See, they only are doing this This is just white people trying to preserve whiteness at the end of the day. That's really all it boils down to. But the whiteness that they like, because there is some whiteness that they don't like. Those are the values that we need to get our country back to. Sounds a lot like Make America Great Again, don't it? And that's the end of the article. Look, all I can be is the messenger when it comes to something like this. But Ron DeSantis, he is a snake. A savage one at that, but he is a snake. And no wonder he hung around 45 so much. Who do you think he got a lot of his pointers from? But yeah, I'm telling y'all, to the people of Florida, to the citizens of Florida, y'all need to do what y'all need to do, or whatever it is, to get him out of that office in the next election cycle. When he's up for re-election, y'all need to find a way to get him up out of there, because you know the ones who agree with him, they're gonna vote for him. They're gonna vote for him. But that's just ridiculous. And like I said, I'm not too involved with politics and stuff like that. But this guy's literally trying to take away people's free speech. And these are the same people that cry and bitch and moan and complain about that goddamn free speech being taken away. And look at what he's doing ultimately right here, because I truly believe he's scared he's going to lose the election. I truly believe I think he's in fear of that. But y'all let me know what y'all think.